Kelly Disney was last seen at a gas station on the outskirts of Riverton at 9:43 p.m. on a Friday night. Security footage showed her walking away from her boyfriend's car after what witnesses later called a heated argument. She looked upset, phone in hand, pacing beside the parked car before stepping off toward the road. A few minutes later, she disappeared. That night, no one could have guessed it would become one of the most unsettling missing person cases in the small town's history. Kelly was 24 years old, a nursing student living with her boyfriend, Tyler Brooks. They had been together for nearly 3 years. People who knew them said they argued often but never expected things to turn serious. The fight that night began earlier at a friend's birthday party. Several guests noticed tension between them. One friend said Tyler seemed jealous when Kelly talked to another guy from her work. When they left the party, Kelly was in tears. The last anyone saw of them together was on the gas station camera. The argument was intense. Kelly shouted something, slammed the car door, and walked away. Tyler sat in the car for a few minutes before driving off. At that moment, Kelly was left standing alone, late at night, in a quiet area surrounded by open highway and fields. Her phone was active for another 20 minutes before it suddenly went offline. The last signal placed her about a mile north of the gas station. After that, nothing. Tyler later told police he thought Kelly went to her parents' house. He said they'd fought before and she always cooled off after a few hours. He claimed he went home, waited for her call, and when she didn't come back the next morning, he texted her. When there was still no reply, he contacted her roommate to ask if she was there. By late morning, Kelly's mother filed a missing person report. The first 24 hours were chaos. Detectives questioned Tyler immediately. He said the fight wasn't serious and that he left because Kelly told him to go. Police searched his car and apartment but found nothing out of place. There were no obvious signs of violence, no blood, no damage. But something about his story didn't sit right. If he loved her, why drive off and leave her in the middle of nowhere? A truck driver became the first real lead. He told investigators he saw a young woman matching Kelly's description walking along the shoulder of the highway about 10 minutes after she was last seen on camera. She was alone, heading north. He didn't stop because it didn't seem unusual. That detail put Kelly on the highway between 10 and 10:15 p.m. Police organized search teams across the surrounding area. They searched ditches, fields, wooded areas, and drainage routes.
Drone flew overhead for days.
Dozens of volunteers joined the effort. Not a single trace turned up. No phone, no purse, not even a footprint. It was like she vanished into thin air. By the third day, the case made the local news. The headline read, "Young woman missing after fight with boyfriend." Reporters surrounded Tyler's home. He gave a short statement, saying he had nothing to do with her disappearance and only wanted her found. His calm attitude on camera raised suspicion among viewers. Online forums immediately pointed fingers at him, calling him guilty. Detectives weren't ready to say that, but Tyler's timeline began falling apart. His claim that he went straight home after leaving the gas station didn't match his phone records. Data placed his phone near the industrial district at 10:45 p.m., 15 miles from his apartment. When asked, he said he just drove around to cool off. It wasn't convincing. 5 days into the investigation, a jogger found a denim jacket beside a creek about 3 miles from the gas station. It matched the one Kelly had been wearing that night. Inside the pocket was her lip balm and a single receipt from a coffee shop dated earlier that day. The jacket wasn't torn or stained. It looked deliberately placed. Nearby, police found 2 cigarette butts and a silver earring, identical to the one she wore. Forensic analysis couldn't pull usable DNA from the cigarettes. The earring was confirmed to be hers. Detectives now believed someone had stopped and picked her up. Whether it was a stranger or someone she knew wasn't clear. When investigators enhanced the gas station surveillance video again, they noticed a dark SUV entering the lot about 2 minutes after Kelly walked out of frame. It stayed there for less than a minute and then headed north, the same direction she walked. The license plate was unreadable, but the vehicle's shape and movement stood out. They started looking for similar SUVs in the area. Tips poured in after the footage was released publicly. One caller claimed to have seen a dark SUV parked at a rest stop near the highway around 10:30 that night, with a woman sitting inside who looked nervous. But when officers reviewed the rest stop cameras, they found nothing useful. The angles didn't cover the parking lot fully. Tyler remained the main focus. Investigators got a warrant for his car again, this time testing it with luminol for traces of blood. Faint residue showed up in the trunk, but lab results were inconclusive. It could have been anything. Still, it was enough to keep him under suspicion. He also deleted a few texts from his phone right around the time Kelly vanished. When asked why, he said they were just arguments, and he didn't want to relive them. Kelly's parents held a public vigil a week later. Dozens of people gathered with candles and posters bearing her photo. Her mother pleaded for help, saying, "Someone knows what happened. Please, if you've seen her, come forward." The next morning, police received a tip from a man who claimed he saw a woman resembling Kelly at a convenience store 2 towns away. She was with a man driving a dark SUV. The caller said she looked pale and avoided eye contact. By the time detectives checked, she was gone. But store surveillance footage showed a woman wearing dark clothes, similar build, long blonde hair, possibly Kelly. The timestamp was 9:57 p.m., only minutes after her phone last pinged. The footage raised more questions. If it was Kelly, was she there willingly? Was she kidnapped? Why would she travel in the opposite direction of her home? Detectives traced every dark SUV owner in the area who matched the description. None led to anything.
Publique spéculation grew wild online.
Some claimed Tyler sold her out. Others said she staged her own disappearance. Then, on the 10th day, an anonymous email arrived at the local police department. It said, "If you want to find Kelly, check the old quarry before it's too late."
Nos sendeurs, nos signatures.
The quarry was 12 miles north of town, long abandoned and fenced off. Police immediately sent a team. They searched through the rocky, overgrown area with dogs and drones. Nothing turned up at first. Then a cadaver dog alerted near a shallow pond at the edge of the site. Divers entered the water the next morning, but they didn't find a body, only a phone case and part of a purse strap. Both items matched Kelly's belongings.
The discovery changed everything.
The phone's SIM was missing, possibly removed intentionally. Whoever took it knew what they were doing. Detectives began piecing together a pattern. Kelly left the gas station. A dark SUV followed. She was possibly seen at a rest stop and again near a store. Now her belongings were in a quarry directly along that route. Tyler denied ever going near the quarry. But his phone data again betrayed him. It had connected briefly to a tower near the same area around 10:50 that night. He said he didn't know why. Maybe bad signal routing, he claimed. It sounded like an excuse. By this time, the media had turned on him completely. News outlets labeled him the jealous boyfriend. Social media was full of theories. Under mounting pressure, Tyler stopped cooperating. His lawyer advised him not to speak further. Meanwhile, Kelly's family refused to give up. Her father said he believed she was still alive somewhere. Late one evening, a local farmer called the tip line. He said he saw headlights moving through the old service road near the quarry the same night Kelly went missing. The vehicle, he said, looked like an SUV with one broken headlight. That detail matched perfectly with what detectives had seen on the gas station footage. Police obtained satellite imagery from that night, showing faint tire tracks leading off the service road toward the pond. The tracks were fresh at the time and matched a mid-size SUV's tread pattern. It wasn't enough to charge anyone, but it was enough to intensify the search. For now, that was all they had: scattered clues, conflicting statements, and a growing sense that time was running out. 2 weeks had passed since Kelly Disney vanished, and investigators were no closer to finding her. The discovery of her phone case and purse strap near the quarry raised more questions than answers. The town of Riverton was on edge. Every night, local news replayed the same footage of her walking away from Tyler's car. People couldn't understand how someone could simply disappear in a place so small. Police increased pressure on Tyler Brooks. They subpoenaed his full digital records and obtained data from his car's onboard GPS. What they found was strange. On the night Kelly went missing, his car had been restarted at 10:38 p.m., just minutes after he supposedly drove straight home. The GPS showed his vehicle made a stop along a rural service road, less than a mile from the quarry. Tyler had no explanation for it. He claimed his GPS must have logged an error. Investigators didn't buy it. Behind the scenes, detectives were building a timeline. Kelly's phone shut off at 10:02 p.m. Tyler's car moved toward the quarry between 10:30 and 10:45. The dark SUV seen on footage took the same route. Whether that SUV belonged to Tyler or someone else was still unconfirmed, but it couldn't be a coincidence. Then, a major development came from the state lab. A microscopic trace of Kelly's DNA was detected on the inside lining of Tyler's car trunk, too faint to prove anything by itself, but enough to shift the tone of the case from missing person to potential foul play. A formal warrant was issued to seize Tyler's vehicle for full forensic reconstruction. As that unfolded, an unexpected witness came forward. A woman named Sandra, who worked at a diner off Highway 14, told police she served a man and a woman late that same night who didn't look right. The man was tall, tense, and kept checking his watch. The woman, quiet, stared out the window. Sandra couldn't swear it was Kelly, but she remembered the jacket, light denim, same as the one found near the creek. Surveillance from that diner confirmed her account.
The timestamp?
10:21 p.m.
The man's car?
A dark SUV with a missing front emblem. Detectives compared the blurry plate number with local registrations and found 3 possible matches. One belonged to a delivery driver, one to a retired teacher, and the third to a man named Derek Walsh, a mechanic who worked less than a mile from Tyler's apartment. Walsh had a prior record for assault from years ago. When police visited his home, they found a mid-2000s black SUV parked behind the garage. The front emblem was gone. Forensics towed the vehicle for testing, and within hours, they found hair strands in the passenger seat matching Kelly's profile. Derek Walsh was taken in for questioning. He denied everything at first, saying Kelly must have hitchhiked with someone else who borrowed his car. But GPS and cell tower data tied his phone to the quarry area that same night. He finally admitted he saw Kelly walking along the road but claimed she wanted a ride. According to him, she asked to be dropped near town. He said she got out halfway when he stopped to smoke and then disappeared into the woods. His story didn't hold up. No one believed a woman alone at night in cold weather would suddenly walk off into the dark. Detectives now suspected Tyler and Derek knew each other. They had one thing in common: a garage Tyler used for car repairs. Phone records showed they exchanged 3 calls in the week before Kelly disappeared. Tyler said they were about fixing his brake lights. Investigators weren't convinced. The theory forming now was darker, that Tyler might have asked Derek to teach Kelly a lesson after the fight spiraled out of control. Police quietly placed both men under surveillance. A wiretap on Derek's phone caught him making a tense call. "They're getting close." "I didn't sign up for this," he said. The call wasn't to Tyler directly, but the voice on the other end sounded male and calm. That was enough for detectives to move forward. A full-scale search of the quarry began again. This time, they drained part of the shallow pond where the phone case was found. After hours of pumping and digging through silt, divers recovered a tarp weighted with rocks. Inside was a bundle of fabric and personal items, including Kelly's missing purse, her driver's license, and her house keys. But still no body. The evidence, though, was damning enough for prosecutors to label it a likely homicide investigation. Tyler Brooks was arrested for questioning again. He maintained his innocence, saying he never went back to the quarry and had nothing to do with Derek Walsh. But investigators now had phone pings proving both men's phones were near the same area that night, minutes apart. Tyler's demeanor cracked during interrogation. He broke down, saying, "I just wanted her to come home. I didn't mean for any of this to happen." When pressed on what that meant, he refused to elaborate without a lawyer. The community turned furious. Kelly's family demanded answers. News channels ran hour-long specials replaying every possible theory. Online investigators dissected every frame of footage, comparing timestamps, matching cars, and sharing conspiracies. The story reached national attention when a podcast covered it as the vanishing of Kelly Disney. 2 days later, Derek Walsh changed his story. He admitted Tyler called him the night of the fight, saying Kelly had walked off and he was worried. Derek said he offered to drive around and look for her. He claimed he found Kelly walking and offered her a ride. When she refused, he got aggressive. He said she freaked out and tried to run, and in the struggle, she hit her head on the car door. He panicked. He said Tyler met him later near the quarry, and they decided to hide her. According to Derek, Tyler told him, "No one can know.
Elle ruin my life."
But when police asked where she was now, Derek said he didn't know, that Tyler took care of it.
10 confessions craquées, the case wide open.
Detectives confronted Tyler again with Derek's statement. Tyler denied it all, claiming Derek was lying to save himself. But forensic evidence kept stacking. Tiny traces of quarry mud were found in the treads of Tyler's boots. The composition matched soil samples from the exact spot where Kelly's purse was discovered. A week later, authorities made one final search of the quarry using ground-penetrating radar. Under a patch of disturbed earth near the north edge, about 40 feet from the pond, they found what they had feared all along: human remains wrapped in a tarp. Dental records confirmed it was Kelly Disney. The medical examiner ruled the cause of death as blunt force trauma to the head.
The news it riverton like a storm.
After weeks of searching and speculation, Kelly's disappearance was no longer a mystery. It was a murder. Tyler Brooks and Derek Walsh were both arrested and charged. Investigators believed Tyler's jealousy that night spiraled into rage, and Derek's involvement came as an attempt to cover it up. Texts recovered from Tyler's deleted files painted the full picture. One message, sent an hour before Kelly vanished, read, "If she walks away again, I swear I'll make her listen." During trial preparation, Derek turned state witness in exchange for a reduced sentence. His testimony detailed the night in full. He said Tyler called him after the fight and told him to find her before she does something stupid. Derek drove toward the highway, found Kelly walking, tried to talk to her, and when she resisted, things turned violent. He claimed Tyler arrived later, panicked, and together they hid her at the quarry. Tyler told him to stay quiet and even paid him a small amount afterward. The jury didn't take long to decide. Tyler Brooks was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 35 years. Derek Walsh received 15 years for manslaughter and evidence tampering. The judge called the crime a devastating act of control disguised as panic. Kelly's parents sat silently through the verdict. Her mother said later in an interview, "At least now we know the truth. She didn't just vanish, she was taken from us." After the trial, investigators revealed one last overlooked detail. When they analyzed Kelly's phone memory card, which had been hidden inside her purse, they recovered a deleted voice memo recorded at 9:55 p.m., just minutes before her phone shut off. Her trembling voice said, "He's still following me. I told him to leave me alone." That clip confirmed what everyone suspected: she was never truly alone that night. The case closed officially 8 months later. The quarry was sealed off, and a small memorial was placed near the site. The story of Kelly Disney became a warning about how quickly an argument can turn into tragedy. Her disappearance had started as a mystery, but the truth revealed a chain of decisions fueled by jealousy, fear, and panic. For Riverton, it ended the sleepless nights, but the silence that followed was heavier than before.